Well, hello everybody, it's me, Garrett again. Today I thought I'd bring out the good old Northwest trade gun. This is a military heritage one. And I hadn't had it out for almost 2 years, I guess, now that I've had it out. And I saw that the channel Never Met a Gun I Didn't Like It broke his out and did some shooting. And I thought, well, I might as well see how this old India gun shoots, probably get some clatches, we'll see. I have a pretty good sharp flint in there, but I got her loaded up. Also wanted to see how it would shoot with a little lighter charge. I was shooting 120 grain charges in this, and it was shooting pretty good group, but I kind of decided I'd like to come out here and try a little lighter charge, maybe 80 grains, and see what this will do. And I'm doing a 2F charge. I got some stuff hanging off of me here that I'm not real happy about, but have to use it for shot measurement since I'm not using my heavy charge. Let's give this old girl a go, see if anything happens. Still shoots. That was a lot more pleasant than the 120 grain charge. Here we go. Bad habit, guys. Does feel good though. Standing right here on the river today. I don't know if you can see it in the background down there, but just March, just before it's going to start getting up just a little bit. Anyway, I got this horn that Duke Fraser made for me. Well, he didn't make it for me. I bought it from him. He built it. But I haven't had a chance to get out here and really try her out, so that's what we're going to do. 80 grains. That was downright pleasant. Seems like not a lot after you shot a brown bess and some other guns. I'm going to go in here and we're going to go with a non-historic fiber wad, 62 caliber. And you might say, why in the world wouldn't you be using something historically accurate? Well, this is Kansas in March. And the wind's going to blow like crazy coming tomorrow, so I don't want anything that's flammable going even out in the trees on this river, or I will be here with the fire truck fighting it. And I need to practice that a little bit. I like to spit patch the top one. 62 caliber ball, well, 60 caliber ball. Fall right down the bore and chase it down. Priming out of the horn with just 2F. Alright, let's see if we get another shot and see how bad she hang fires. I do have a target out there. She's hanging up just a little bit. There's a couple of things I could do to fix that, but it's not terrible. It's a good way to get rid of your flinch. Shoot one with a hang fire. It'll tell you if you're flinching or not, and usually I am. So, what else is going on? Some change is going to be occurring over on 11 Bang Bang. Ethan's getting back from military service, and hopefully this time he's going to be hanging out for a little while. Which means I'm going to be able to take a break for a little while from running 2 channels. And not that I work real hard on this one, but running 2 channels and doing 2 separate live chat shows. Going to be starting up 3, I think, with Snapper pretty soon. And just a lot of doing, a lot of work. Takes a lot of work to grow one of these channels. I've told you that before. And I'm going to be stepping away, except for doing the major trapdoor history study for just a little while. We got a little fouling in there now. That's all right. Come on. There we go. And when I'm doing that, I'm going to let Ethan run live chats and everything. For the last 3 years, I don't know that I've pulled a single trigger without a camera being on me. And in those situations, it's always stressed to put out the best quality, do as good a job as you possibly can, you know, things like that. And it's a little different on this channel right now. I'm not going for growing this channel. This is just where I come out and talk. And really the only people that even subscribe over here are like my favorite people and the people that know me the best. So there's that. And so over here, it's a lot of fun. I just come out here, I shoot at old dead tree stumps and whatnot and group on them, and don't worry a whole lot about anything really. I'm going to go a little higher this time. Right about where I was aiming. Smoke really hangs down on the river, don't it? So I'm going to be letting Ethan take over the live chats for a while. I will be around for the big videos and stuff, at least for a few months. I'm going to take a break so I don't burn out completely. At least that's my goal. I want to keep doing this long term. Every now and then you need a little bit of a break. And yes, we do take breaks in June, but I need time to really study. I didn't work the way I planned. I need time to really study the trapdoor series the way I want to, so I can get it exactly how I want it. Oh, come on now. Yeah. That one went all the way down. I don't separate out the balls and the wads or anything in the bag. They're all just right down there in the bottom. Really no need to, except for when you start running low on round ball like I am today. I didn't figure I'd be using too many. When you start running low on round ball, then I'll tell you what, this little powder horn, well, it's actually kind of a big powder horn Duke made. He even started beading it, but never quite got it done. But I'm really enjoying it. Has that little latch. That little latch, spring-loaded latch, means I don't have to pull a cork, which I kind of enjoy. Historically accurate for the fur trade era too. Now, this gun is hang firing. It has been fired a lot in its life. It's not a real fast lock, but it can be made faster. It works. It's honestly as good as most of the original locks I've handled, and I've handled quite a few original locks. They're about the same speed. But if you really wanted to make this lock a lot faster, we would put a frizzen on it from the rifle shop and harden it in a different manner. Ethan's been doing that with some of his. He's got them just lickety split. But like I said, it doesn't bother me too bad, because it really is about like we have a Dutch trade gun that I shoot sometimes over there at the studio, and it's all original and its lock's about the same speed. You can tune them up and do whatnot, but like I said, this one's working for me. It's not bad. Let's load another one here. Noah made me this hunting bag. Works out pretty good. I got a Duke horn and a Noah hunting bag. You'll be seeing more of Noah, I think, over on the channel. He's been helping me a lot. And he's starting to learn how to operate the camera over there, so I think that Ethan and Noah are going to be the crew for a little while over there. And he helped me the other night rawhide wrap that blanket gun, if you guys have seen that. It's on the shorts on 11 Bang Bang. That's a nice tight fitting ball. And he helped me redo that gun. That gun took a lot of work. I found out I did it all by hand. I didn't use sandpaper, not something they would have had. I did the whole thing with rasps, files, and just anything I could use that was not, you know, kind of authentic to the gun. And what I found was it was more work to make that gun junky looking than it was to make something like this decent looking. And this was the first this was the first India musket I ever refinished. And I'm pretty happy with how it came out. That's been about, what, 4 years ago? I'm pretty happy with how this one came out. I put a dark stain in my linseed oil when I did it. I put a yellow stain in my ramrod linseed oil. I rebuilt hickory ramrod, you know. Went in and I rust browned the whole thing. And it came out pretty good. The only thing I have is since then, I've handled a lot more original Northwest guns. Now, the wrist on a Northwest gun, even originals, they vary from about this thick to very thin, depending on what outfit made them, because a lot of different people made Northwest trade guns. This one has all the right markings, setting fox, but what I don't like about this one, and if I'd have known it when I did it, was the belly here is about a 1/4 inch too deep. And when I redid that blanket gun, I took the rasp and rasped that belly out real shallow. But if I had known that when I did this, I would have rasped this one out too. Like I said, this was my first one, and it works. Everything seems to be all right. You feel it when you're holding it compared to an original. Now, military heritage India-made muskets, a lot of times they're original, or they're just like the military guns on the original. And what I found out was this stock has about the same depth as their Charlottesville stock, which is pretty authentic historically. But I imagine they made it off the same pattern and just used it as their Northwest stock. And so it's a little bit too deep right here in the belly. But like I said, it works. Works for reenactment and whatnot. You only know it if you've held an original. And yeah, other than that, this gun's been pretty all right for me. Don't flinch. Jake from Everything Black Powder would say, don't flinch. I usually use my pan priming flask, but starting to do a little different style, a little different clothing. Try to be a little more authentic, which I know those are authentic, but not necessarily to my kind. I'll tell you one thing about being authentic. I just ordered this homespun shirt, had it made up for me. It's the big long drop sleeve, you know, extra long down here. I have it tied on with a sash, small sash. And I'm working on some hard sole plains moccasins and some buckskin breeches. I have a reenactment coming up this fall where I'm going to go for Mountain Man or Fur Trade era, early Fur Trade era. I want to portray someone who has, not first person obviously, but the idea is someone who had come up in 25 and been here for a couple years, and still I'm liking the cloth shirt and the hat, but thinking about going for buckskin pants and moccasins because that would have been pretty common at the time. And that's kind of what I'm thinking about doing. And I will say this for authenticity, those guys knew how to be comfortable. Everything from my 1880s get up that I wear a lot of times with the flat hat and the blue fireman's shirt and the canvas pants to this, they knew how to be comfortable. I'll give them that. This thing is breathing so good today. It's about 80 degrees out and I've been sweating a little bit, been at work. This shirt is just letting the air right through this. It's a wool homespun shirt, and really enjoying it. Like I said, I've been doing this muzzle loading gig for over 25 years now as my primary shooting, ever since I was about 10 years old, or even younger actually. I started out, I'd only got into flintlocks about 5 years ago. Before that, it was all Thompson Center Hawkins, CVA Hawkins, and stuff like that. But what I've learned over the years is the more years I do this, the less I like things hanging off my neck. And like I said, the only reason I have this one is it's an adjustable measure. I want to try an 80 grain charge, and I don't have an 80 grain antler measure. And this seems to be working out actually really well, so I may very well make myself an 80 grain measure for the round ball. Now I'm going to keep it 110 for shot, because that really produces a good pattern, especially with the Sky Chief load. But I think I'm going to go down to 80 grains, make myself an 80 grain measure for round ball. There's no sense, I don't need that much powder. I'm pretty sure I need to run it over a chronograph, but I'm pretty sure that 60 caliber ball and 80 grains of powder would do anything I need it to do up to mule deer. And I'll see how it goes. Smoothbore is not my first choice for deer hunting, but I will do it. I have done it, and it's just I'm kind of considering building, and I've been talking to Turkey Creek 1823. He's been helping me out a lot. I have a list of guys, going back to what I was talking about before, stepping off the channel for a little bit. One of the reasons is it's just gotten very difficult to do all the studying I need every week on each gun, plus the trapdoor series, plus this new, well, it's not really new, but just diving into the fur trade reenactment thing. And so the only way I've been able to accomplish it, period, up to this point, was I have a handful of channels that I turn to that help me out all the time, because I answer 200 comments every day, 50 emails, and I'm blown away over there. It's more than one guy can handle when Ethan's gone, the way we do it. And so try to do all that, but I'm stepping back, let Ethan do it, because the only way I was doing it was with a lot of help from other channels, and I try to mention them as much as I can. Turkey Creek 1823, I text him every day. Obviously, my biggest mentor and helper in the historic world is Duke. I talk to him all the time, and every time I'm about to try something, I always ask him, and it seems like never fails that he's like, well, I don't think I would. Well, it might be historically accurate, but it's not normal, nug, or whatever they call it, normal, usual, general. And so I always wind up coming back to whatever it was he said I ought to do. Turkey Creek I talked to a lot, Snapper of course. Josh from Wild West Extravaganza here lately has been my go-to for a lot of clothing and stuff. I ask him a question and he'll just respond with a plethora of information. And in turn, when he needs a question answered about a certain firearm or something, I'll help him out. And the other channels if they have any. Most of them know far more than I do, so I don't have to help them out. But that's just kind of where I'm at. Kind of stepping away, like I said, a little bit so I can do a little bit more enjoyable stuff. Maybe I'll bring a camera along, some camping trips and stuff. Just do some fur trade stuff. And, you know, like I said, I'll be there for the bigger episodes. And I'm definitely going to be there for the reload, not the reload show. I'm going to let Ethan take that over for a while. But I'll be there for Tales of the Trails with Duke and a few other things. But mostly I'm working 7 days a week right now. And the way I've been doing it is I get about 3 hours on Sunday afternoon. I work a half a day. I go to church, then I work for a few hours, go to church, come back, work a few more hours. Then I have about a grand total of 3 hours to get everything together, get to the range, and get the film made. And then come home and I edit every night after dark. And it's just gotten to where if that 3 hour window happens to fall in rain or high wind or something else, I just can't do it. So here lately I've been kind of cheating and doing more indoor videos, and that's just not what a lot of people want to see. So that's one of the reasons Ethan, when he gets back from the military, is going to be taking that over, because amongst all that you still have to do the gun research, the reloading, the bullet casting, the ball casting, the gun finishing, and it's a huge job really. And I'm not complaining about it. I've been doing it every week for about 3 years now, and I need to be able to take the time to study the Trapdoor series correctly. I've already been through all the information that I probably ever am going to have, but when you do this, I need to be able to take the time to spend that 3 hours or 4 hours at least a week studying and getting notes for that Trapdoor series. And that's hard to do when you're fighting for that precious little time to get out there and make a video. So, not that that's the end of the world, because Ethan's videos do great. He's a cinematic genius in my opinion, and he does a really good job at it, and his videos always go over well. So sharing the load a little bit probably actually help the channel more than hurt it, and you guys will get to see a lot more flintlock stuff. I hope that's what you're into. I hope you guys enjoy French flintlocks. You're probably about to get a whole lot of them. Personally, I prefer the British and American style myself, but that's just me. You guys are about to get probably information overload on original French guns. Probably should have felt and made sure I had another round ball before I did that. Pretty sure I do. Come on. Aha! This might be the last one we do today. I don't know how many more of those I've got in my bag. This bag was set up for shotgunning for pheasants. So I just got this hat done up. Noah helped me and braid me a rawhide leather hat band. Well, it's not rawhide now. It was, but... And I was rummaging around through some stuff, looking, thinking, what am I going to do to put in this hat for characteristics? I already had the back bent up. This once was a Stetson that was too small for me. Got left at my uncle's house by a former owner. And so I blew it out, and I bent it out, and I tried to make as best I could a fur trade era hat some years ago. Then I got to thinking, what can I do to really put some personal touches on it? Well, I reached in, I got a turkey feather from a turkey I had shot a few years ago, and I put that in one side. Then I got a pheasant feather that I'd shot a few years ago in this side, and I thought, well, it's not really historically accurate, but I'll leave it in for now. And as I was rummaging through a bag of little odds and ends that I have, stuff like that, I come across this blonde hair strip. I don't know if you can see that in there. If I get up here, maybe you can. Yeah, blonde hair strip right there. You can see it kind of wound around that. And what I found was that was the piece of a mane that I had saved off of a horse named Sam. And you guys have been watching the channel a long time have seen Sam. I used him in my 1860 Army video. Great old horse, could run, shoot off of him. I shot off of him in several videos now. And I always had reenacted with him. He was a good horse. He was a good cow horse. He didn't necessarily like guns, but he'd let you shoot off of his back. I kind of found over the years that a good, really good working cow horse that understands what's going on and is always paying attention, you can train him to accept gunfire, which he was trained to accept gunfire, but he would never ignore it. You know, once the gun started, he was amped. He was ready because that was the way he was bred. Chasing cattle, he always had his head up. He always wanted to know what was going on, and if anything happened different, he was on it. One of those horses that you could make, they'd make you look real good on a roundup because you don't have to actually do about anything. All you got to do is sit there, and if a cow starts to break, old Sam, he'd already be on it. And you wouldn't have to give him spur, nothing. Away we'd go. Some people thought we were having a runaway a few times, but no, that was just Sam. He'd cut them dew claws around them old cows and bring them right back into the herd. He was good old horse, and he was over 30 years old. And I was still using him for gun stuff just because I didn't have another gun horse trained. But about last winter, we came out one day and he just died. He'd already had his teeth floated 3 times, and at least I think I remember one distinctly. And he was up there 30 years old or so, and he would still go out and work to the day he died. Now, we didn't do that all the time. He was pretty much in retirement the last 3 years of his life, but if you'd asked him to, he would have. And so one day, years ago, probably 10 years ago, I was catching him, and I noticed that he'd stuck his head through the barbed wire fence to graze a piece of grass on the other side, and he'd hung up and got this big chunk of mane hung up in the fence. And I thought, well, I'll keep that. Someday I might make a pocket watch or chain or something out of it. And I seen it there, and I thought, well, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to integrate old Sam into this hat just for his memory. It's really hard to beat a good old horse like that. Works hard, plays hard, you can shoot off of him, and you can still, you know, drive cattle 30 miles in a day and not have to worry that one cow is going to beat you to the tree line, because they'd have to be awfully close for old Sam to not get the jump on them. Well, like I said, this is probably my last round ball here today. Really enjoying this load. Another thing I've realized as I got older, not only do I not like stuff hanging around my neck, I don't have to have the biggest, hottest charge in every gun. I got nothing to prove. This is like Plowboy's Ghost said about guns past 44 Magnum when you're deer hunting with a handgun. Once you get past 44 Magnum, the only thing you're impressing is the trees and the dirt on the other side of the animal. Like I said, I'm going to do a 62 caliber rifle here soon, hopefully this year, make one out of a kit. But biggest thing I ever got to worry about around here, well, outside of those elk outside of town that I'm not hunting anyway, whitetail deer. And I'm pretty sure this load right here would handle a whitetail deer all day long. But not if it does that. I didn't pick my vent hole. Probably should have. Getting a little fouling in there. Alright. Hang fire. Or no fire. Pretty sure I put powder in this thing, didn't I? Sometimes you forget. Oh, I forgot I actually have a turn screw today with a vent pick on it. Let's see how well this works. Homemade 2F, some big grains. I could probably honestly, like I said, I did this gun years ago. It was one of my first true flintlock rebuilds. I rebuild all of them I get from the Indian made muskets, but one of my first true flintlock rebuilds. And back then I was doing everything by the book, and sometimes you learn afterwards you don't have to do everything by the book. And so when I do them now, I drill the vent holes a little bigger than was suggested. I probably ought to do that to this one, maybe put touch hole liner in it. There we go. That actually wasn't too bad for what it was. Anyway, guys, that's been an afternoon in the woods with the good old Northwest trade gun. Still a lot of fun. You know, it's pretty reliable. I don't think I had a single clatch there. I had a few flashes in the pan. A little bit of a slow firing gun, but bear in mind, some of those original trade guns were pretty slow firing themselves, I can tell you from experience. Anyway, guys, thanks for coming out here with me and listening to me ramble. Hope you enjoyed this video, and like I said, even though you won't be seeing me as much on the other channel, I'll still be back here from time to time to check in with you guys and make some smoke in the woods. See you later.